doubts stacked up like cold stone cairns ready to collapse and crash through the weakest points of my positive frame of mind. An unknown next threatened my comfortable, predictable now, and I felt suddenly nostalgic for the familiar formula of failure, the simple ingredients of self-defeat. I wanted a big fat drink, a sloppy specimen broad enough to balk a steeplechase mount, deep enough to hand-wash a king-size set of bedsheets. I burned the last of my phone's battery reaching out to Christoph Flex, my brother in recovery. Flex helped me get my shit wired right back in Warsaw after I reacted poorly to credible rumors that Margaret and Brady were playing house. I ran moonshine wild with some Turkish roadies and woke before dawn between the tires of the tour driver's sleeper coach, headfirst in the dirt like a shoeless wicked witch attempting suicide by mobile home. I crawled from the darkness and vomited my insides raw under a fading fingernail moon. That's when I saw Christoph Flex for the first time, facing east in his green lawn chair brewing coffee in a dented kettle on a camp stove. Flex unfolded a spare chair and waved for me to post up beside him. He put a cup of coffee in my shaky hands and we sat in silence as the horizon bloomed pink, then burned red. My hands were steady by the time Flex refilled my cup and asked me why I drank. That kind of question would normally be my cue to crack dumb jokes, make desperate attempts to tailor the shame I deserved to wear after a complete stranger watched me emerge from beneath the bus and barf on all fours in the mashed brown grass. But I didn't read any judgment coming from Flex, so I gave him an honest answer. I told him I adored being drunk. I loved every mile of that ride, the excitement of warming my mad mechanisms for action. I woke each morning looking forward to the whole fucking process, the feeling of rolling away from a dead stop and starting a wildfire with a single spark. Getting up to speed and watching the light bend behind my rapid path of travel. I waited for Flex to spring a trap, pounce on the back of my naked admission with a practice pitch to join a culty brand of religion, maybe a recommendation to rub some crystals or read The Secret, but he didn't go there. Flex was a rare figure, a wise guide, someone far greater than a friend. He was probably the only person on this planet who never heard anything but honest truth fall out of my mouth. I trusted him completely, and I'll chalk that up to our shared preference for black coffee. If I met Flex in a corporate coffee house and he ordered a Sunday cup abomination of sprinkles, whipped cream, and caramel, something with a name that sounded like the punchline to an Italian knock-knock joke, I never would have opened up enough to speak plainly about my alcoholism. Up to that point in time and forever after, the best people I met in my life were straight shooters who took their coffee black. So we talked. I don't want to get into the specifics of our conversation, but when the kettle and my eyes were dry, Flex took my empty cup and he asked me, "Do I have your confidence to make demonstration?" I agreed. Flex waved for me to stand and I followed him aboard the driver's coach. I sat in the squeaky vinyl dinette while Flex rummaged through cabinets, dug through drawers, and placed a peculiar accumulation of items on the table. A piece of paper, a pen, 12 inches of string, a 3-minute boggle timer, and a bottle of vodka. He wiped a short glass clean on the tail of his t-shirt and charged it with a tall shot. Flex squeezed into the dinette and tied a knot at one end of the string. "This represents the first time ever you are distressed about drinking," he said. He made a second knot in the middle. "Here is the pain you say you feel today." Flex draped the string over his upturned palm and offered it to me like it was something I dropped, something he found and was returning to me, knowing it was delicate, extremely private, and entirely mine. He touched the segment between the knots. "How many days like this morning?" he asked. I shrugged, knowing I'd need a team of mathematicians and a case of Adderall to calculate anything approaching a ballpark figure. "Estimate," Flex said. "Best guess for 1 year, 10 knots?" "More," I said. "Like 10 a month for too many years, lots of knots, enough to make a sweater for a fat man." Flex smiled, pinched the string, and dangled it from its untied end. "Structure of time is not simple," he said. Time defies confinement to linear limits. Man can't accept complex truth of time, so he invents past and future, easy concepts to consume, small bites with no bones. He shook the boggle timer like a tiny maraca. Hourglass, calendar, and clock? Inadequate tools. These are toys, accurate only to measure how much people misunderstand time. Flex carefully plucked the knots loose as he continued. Past does not exist, Vincent. Past is myth you create to memorize pain. This eats like parasite, and your spirit becomes life support for artificial catalog of negative things. Flex wove the string in a serpentine between his fingers. The low morning sun shone through the dinette window, revealing a parallel stack of shiny scars climbing the inside of his tattooed forearm, like a child's steady growth measured against a door jamb in pink and tan slashes. Newer wounds disappeared beneath his t-shirt sleeve, a chilling chart marking the development of something well-fed and sinister that matured into a proper fucking monster. I startled when Flex rapped the tabletop with one chunky knuckle. This moment? Good or bad, this is gone forever, he said. He rapped the table again. And this moment is gone, so 1 second? Lost, same as 1 century. Gravity cannot age. This is invisible, intangible. So are grief, pain, and shame. These can't exist if you deny them life in your memory. Flex smoothed the string into a loop on the table between us, pinned the ends under one fingertip, and twisted it over itself to form a figure 8. Future is not coming tomorrow, next Friday, next year, he said. Future always happens now, endless now. This is capital N. Every second for all directions you can have unlimited potential, incalculable possibility for infinite change. He prodded the string into a spiral around the glass of vodka. You agree to understand this reality of the now? He asked. I nodded. Flex pointed a finger at his temple. Science is most valuable foundation, he said. He pressed his palm flat over his heart. White scars embossed his fingers and knuckles in a dense basket weave pattern. Human species is also spiritual, he continued. Religion is commercial and corrupt, I don't recommend, but personal ritual can be a healthy habit for calibration and release. Exercise, yoga, meditation. Today you see my ritual. I make coffee, welcome the sun, very simple. I see dark becomes light, and I make new commitment to engage the now. Inventory positive things, discard negative. I promise every day I will not harm someone in word or deed. Flex wrapped the string around my wrist 3 times and tied it tight. Vincent, you are free to abandon your myth of past anytime. On tour, this is difficult. Rock and roll eats alive many people and the show goes on, but remember this, okay? You don't have to be tortured to be good. My brain rocked in my skull as those words sank in like water reaching the seed of something dormant and dry. Holy shit, I said. I want that tattooed on my back in Latin. Did you say that? No, Flex said. Winona Ryder says. Interview in Rolling Stone. He pushed the paper, pen, and boggle timer in front of me. He pointed to the glass of vodka. This can be your last, he said. Measure 3 minutes and you choose. Another drink? More pain you carry like stones, or maybe you don't touch this bottle. You choose to breathe new air, be new man. Mark the paper, again 3 minutes and you choose. 20 marks, 20 times is 1 hour of new now. Then come outside and tell me who you are. Flex scooted out of the dinette booth. Don't wait for the sun to begin new destiny. Now is always new, yes? Now never ends. He left me alone on the coach. I shot the vodka, flipped the plastic timer, and watched 3 minutes worth of white sand trickle into the beginning of my brand new now.